Donna's asking how to gain weight in a healthy way. And I'm going to read you a little bit about what she wrote to give you that picture. After a bile duct liver cancer 2 years ago and chemo and a very long recovery, I've moved to about 97% plant-based diet, working with a naturopath after the chemo. I did lose a lot of weight as I recovered, she says, especially after I cleaned up my food choices, and I lost even more. What calorically dense, healthy vegetable-based foods can I eat more of to gain back some of that weight, even if it's healthy fats, to to build the reserve and muscle? I know nuts are good, but if I ate too many nuts in a day, there's bowel movements and trouble the next day. She stays off of dairy because she tested sensitive to that. She does eat organic fruits and vegetables and grows some of her own greens now for juicing, and even drinks organic green tea. So what advice would you have for someone like Donna that could probably describe several other people on this call as well?
Yeah, and it even addresses the eating disordered the anorectic patient that's working on recovery, and that is genuinely working on recovery. I've got like one right now in my practice, and she is eating very clean and very healthy, and I've said there's no problem with that. Another eating disordered dietitian might say, oh, well, that's not normal, you're still eating disordered. But I think you can get into a whole nother debate about that. In my world, healthy is healthy, and eating disordered is eating disordered. And so you got to look at that. But she's having trouble putting on weight. So we have resorted to liquid calories, because the chewing and the having to digest food actually burns calories too, right? And so if you're taking things that are pre-digested, so to speak, right, that is more liquid form, that the body has less processing to do, less calorie burning to do, and it's easier to drink more calories than it is to chew more calories.
Sure. So what would that look like? In my mind, when I work with my clients too, one of the things that we talk about is, since most of mine, 95% or more, are either vegan and or highly plant-based on their healing recovery as well as for prevention, we talk about even utilizing some clean protein powders and
totally.
putting whatever they can as fruits and vegetables, even garlic and onion and all different kinds of anti-inflammatory items within their smoothie, so that they can drink that for that very same reason.
Totally
Is
what
that
it
what you're
looks
talking?
like. It looks like a smoothie, and it looks like what you can jam into the smoothie, putting in those protein powders. I do the protein powders, making sure that you have some fats in there. What do those fats look like? It might look like adding a little MCT oil. It might look like adding a little olive oil. It might look like avocados. It might look like seeds or nuts. But how do you get good, healthy, anti-inflammatory fats in there? And remember that a lot of the vitamins that we get out of our plant-based foods absorb better with fat. So adding fat and not forgetting good healthy fats to those smoothies then can be another way of condensing the calories. Not to the point of causing diarrhea, of course, but you know what I mean. Getting in some added condensed foods.
Right. So oftentimes, like today, before I came on here, I actually had a smoothie, and it included the protein powder. It had avocado, which I always really like to add on there. I had hemp seeds that I utilize for an additional source of protein as well. There's also flax and chia seeds, so I add those. And so, sometimes I'll add some cranberries or blueberries, but usually I don't add, fruit. And sometimes, I add ginger, which is amazing, for
Right.
anti-inflammatory as well. I'll add some turmeric. I know that some people may not prefer that taste, but
Right.
for me, it is one of those things where if I'm looking for something that I know that I need to have to give me that balance of protein and some fats. And I even take an omega, it's actually a vegan omega product, and I can throw those capsules in there, and that whips that up too. And so, it is a very nutrient dense shake, which might be able to help people if they want and need to gain some weight. Maybe they can make it in the morning and maybe have it later in the afternoon, or, have a little bit, as they're eating dinner as their dessert, if you will. Just another way to help them be able to get nutrition, as well as be able to get that added calories that they need to regain some of the weight that perhaps was released during that healing.
I get a lot of complaints like, I don't have time in the morning. So what I tell people is pull out your blender, fill up the blender, then all you have to do is press blend button in the morning. And that helps, because otherwise they're racing around, they don't have prep time. The other thing is prepping the vegetables and having them ready just to put into the blender. And remembering, like you said, even spices like cinnamon and 5-spice powder, or, like a pumpkin pie spice, and that kind of thing can create just wonderful, delicious flavors, and adds, prebiotics to our to feed our probiotics in our gut, right? The good guys in our gut, we want to feed them. And guess what? They like variety, 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 variety. So the more you can mix and match, and that, the better.